It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
Live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, blah, 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 blah. Whenever you listen, whenever you're watching, hope you're doing all right today. And by the way, today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located on beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out the website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com, or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by our new app. That's right. You want to watch or listen to the show on your phone? Download our app. Just visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click on the banner that says download Billy C's app. You know, it's pretty simple. You know, I think Jeremy made some kind of cut up on poor old Billy C. So you'll find it, billycboxing.com. And today's show is also being brought to us in part by the next Billy C Boxing event, which is going to be taking place over the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather weekend. That's August 25th and 26th down in beautiful St. Simon's Island in Georgia. So where is a better place to catch that fight and hang out with us? Oh, did I mention that not only are you going to hang out with me and Sal Rocky Cenicola, but how about former world champions Marlon Starling, Bobby Ches, and Mike Hercules Weaver, just to name a few. And then we also have Sal Rocky Cenicola going to be doing a live workout. No, I'm not kidding you. It's going to be a live workout with the Mitts, with renowned trainer out of Tampa, Florida, Sherman Henson. So make sure you come on down and join it, the whole event with us. In addition to that, we'll have a meet and greet at the beautiful Seat Bombs. We are going to be giving you a sneak look. We're going to be broadcasting or at least showing our new fight series that we're going to be doing called Billy C's Boxing Revisited. We will show at least one full episode for you, maybe even two. We will be hanging out at Sal Rocky Cenicola's restaurant so you can taste the food that I've been bragging about. So all of that is happening. Just visit our website, billycboxing.com, click on the CPOMS banner, give them a call, and ask for the Billy C Boxing Special. And you'll get some special rates. We're going to play some golf. Great weekend. So make sure you come on down. Fun in the sun. And finally, today's show is also being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now. Right now. Where all good books are sold. You can get a copy of it right now. Did I say right now? Right now. By visiting barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Find out why I'm so adamant about getting Tom Molyneux's story out there and why you need to learn about this guy. Anyway, coming up a little bit later, we may open up the phone lines. Yeah, we may open up the phone lines. It's been a little bit. We got some fight results from last night we're going to talk about. Today's main topic, though, we got this fight coming up. What's it called? I don't know if it's a fight, but it's definitely some kind of shenanigans, some kind of smoke screen, some kind of typical BS that we're getting out of Floyd. But Larry Holmes, all-time great heavyweight, Boxing Hall of Famer, he went on record yesterday by basically giving Conor McGregor not only a shot at beating Floyd Mayweather, but the blueprint on how. Now, I'm going to tell you what Larry Holmes said with his quote. But first, joining me right now from St. Simon's Island in Georgia, in the state of Georgia, the Peach State, the Pecan State, the Georgia Bulldog State. Well, you get the idea. Sal, Rocky, Cenicola. What's up, Sal?
Hey, Billy C. Good morning. How are you out there, my friend?
Jesus, you blew my headset apart.
I said some coffee.
I got you did. You certainly did.
Pecans. Is it pecan or pecan?
I don't know. I say pecans. You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday about coming on down, and they tell me there's Sal drinking the customized Billy C. coffee mug. So if you want one, drop me an email. What do you got hanging off there? Take your spaghetti off of there. What is that? A rubber band. Yeah,
rubber band.
But anyway,
I
was telling somebody, and normally when I come down there, when I drive, obviously I go straight down I-95, and my big mission is to get past Washington, D.C. and Richmond, and that's a pretty easy run for me.
Let me tell you a story.
Wait, I don't want to hear any more of your stories. I'm in the middle of telling you a story. Stop interrupting me, Rocky.
Come on, go.
So this guy says, "Oh, man, why don't you go 81 down the cut across over here and do blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "What? For what? Oh, to get around Washington? I mean, you know, they do have a loop that you go around. I mean, it's still
outer loop.
It is still a nightmare, but But anyway, Larry Holmes is telling the world that Conor McGregor has a shot, and let me read you his quotes, Al, and get your thoughts. Larry Holmes, Hall of Famer, former heavyweight champion, many regard as one of the top heavyweights of all time, said, and I quote,
well.
What's that?
I know Larry very well. I used to hang out with him with Richie Giacchetti all the time.
Well, here's the thing. And they also announced the undercard, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I'll tell you what, Sal, just to get off topic for a second here, speaking of the undercard, Sean Porter is going to be fighting Thomas Delorme on the undercard of the card, but it's going to be on Fox, and that fight starts pretty early, so our itinerary might change a little bit, but I'll talk to you about that later. But anyway, Larry Holmes said, and I quote, "Don't sell Conor McGregor short. He doesn't have to do too much to win." You know, I find that, and I got the rest of the quote, but, I find that kind of amazing. I mean, you can't, really criticize Larry Holmes. I mean, Larry Holmes has accomplished a lot. But it's like what people used to say about Klitschko. Beating Klitschko's easy. All you got to do is, and then they all say the same thing. And then it was 10 years before somebody was able to do it, to hear the first line, he doesn't have to do that much to win. 49 other people tried, and nobody's been able to do it. But anyway, Larry Holmes says, don't sell McGregor short. He doesn't have to do too much to win. All he has to do is get him in the corner and bang him. Put his hands up over his head, get down low, keep coming in, and throw punches once you get him against the ropes. Floyd's going to tie him up and try and hit him on the break. McGregor has to put his hands up, stay right on top of him, and keep him from hitting him. It's going to be an interesting fight. People are selling McGregor short. This guy is an athlete. He sees a lot of money. He sees a medal on his chest if he can get over this hump and win this fight. He's got a point. The whole issue here is, can he do it? Can he sustain that game plan for 12 rounds? I don't know, man. What's your thoughts?
Billy, it's like I said, he's not going to need 12 rounds if he can catch him and do it within the 3 rounds. And I told you right here many times, his real chance is at the onset of that bell, not walking, not shuffling, not cutting anything, running across the ring, try to trap Mayweather in a corner, be a bully, use his hands, throw him in the corner. I mean, he's not going to do any MMA stuff. But, you hold in boxing, you grab arms, you grab bodies with your open glove. He could do some of that. If he's physically strong enough to put his arm on Floyd's tricep, bicep, throw him in the corner, and just wail away. He's not going to have to respect. He can't respect Floyd. He's got to go through a barrage of tap punches, tippy tap, 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 and he's got to be able to just manhandle him, throw him in a corner, and just wail away. Hit his arms, hit his head, hit his body, just throw combinations. And one of those punches has got to stop, slow, or hurt Floyd. And, I mean, that's the only way I see this guy having any type of chance or offense in fighting Floyd Mayweather. And that's it. Just being a brute, being a bully, and having no respect for Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I mean, he's going to lose either way. So he's got to go in there like he's going to win. And that's the whole damn thing. He's got to go in there with the winning mentality, and that he's got to be a bully. He has to have no respect for Floyd, and that he's got to go in there that he commands that ring, and he owns that ring, and that this is his night, and everybody's going to be surprised. He could do it. Is he going to? I don't know, because like I said, I never know what's in one fighter's heart or soul or mind. I just know what's in mine. So if he could sustain and do something like that, he will have a chance, because all he has to do is throw those punches in bunches, wail away, hurt Floyd on the arms, hurt Floyd, punch him in the neck, punch him in the head, punch him anywhere he can, and wail away with punches, trapping him in a corner, not letting him get out, throwing his, being a bully with his arms, holding him, doing whatever he's got to do. Maybe he'll do something. I don't know.
You know, the thing is, though, Sal, you know, Floyd knows this. Floyd knows that's what he's going to come. I mean, you know, so how do you beat a guy that already knows what your game plan is?
Well, and that's just it. He doesn't have too many options on Conor McGregor's. I mean, he's got to brutalize Floyd Mayweather. That's the only way. He's not going to outbox Floyd, and surely he's not going to just wait and go to Floyd and be a target for a shooting practice. I mean, that's what everyone believes he's going to do and what's going to happen. Floyd, you know, I know he's probably thinking the same thing. This is what he's going to do. He's going to charge. That's why I used the analogy. Floyd is the matador in there with the bull. This guy's got to come at Floyd like a bull. And he's got to be, like I said, he's just got to be a bully in there. He's got to hit on the brakes. He's got to hit inside. He's got to grab him. He's got to hold him with an open glove, unless they're using thumbless gloves. And he's gotta try to just brutalize Floyd in any way, shape, or form that he can with any free arms he has. But he's got to close the distance. He's got to wade through any punches that Floyd offers, and he's got to like I said, with his arms, with his hands, almost like the scenario of the movie with Rocky and Clubber Lang, throw him in a corner and just boom, boom. You know, it's got to be something like that.
Well,
otherwise,
it should be a movie, but unfortunately, it's not.
It should be a movie.
But you know, the thing is that you know, it's easier said than done. You know,
yes, it is.
Floyd's trying to make it like he's all, oh, I lost a step, I did it. You know, they're getting a little nervous because they're still not sold out. They're getting nervous because you know, the word on the curb is a lot of true boxing fans are definitely not buying it. But the MMA side, you know, they're all giving Conor McGregor a shot, and now Larry Holmes, Hall of Fame, and nobody's going to question his ability. You know, he's given a shot to McGregor. I just you know, I just listen. It's a fight. It's not a fight. It's basically a WWE event
exhibition.
And the undercard they announced is not that great either, to be honest with you. Which we'll get to here as soon as we get done with the break. Now, speaking of breaks, if you guys have been tuning in, now, you know, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been watching our show on our simulcast that we're doing on Facebook Live. Now, for all the Facebook people, that's not our normal camera feed. That's a cheesy camera, and I apologize for it. We actually have a new system set up that we're going to implement in a few days for Facebook specifically because of the interest we have. But aside from Facebook, the last couple of days, our YouTube audience has been losing Sal's video and not getting commercials, which is a good thing, I guess, as soon as we go to break. Now, we have been working on that the last couple of days. So here we go. We're going to go on a break, Sal, and keep your fingers crossed because if the all the work that we did not work, which we won't know until I hit the button, we are going to lose you again and just have your voice in the background. So bear with us, everyone, as we give this a shot one more time. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Are you?
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C Show. Glad to be with us, and thank goodness that we finally got over that hump. I want to thank the guys in the chat room, and by the way, we respond to the chat room up on BillyCBoxing.com. So if you're watching or listening on TV, the radio, or one of the streams that have been going on, I know that there's other vehicles for you to enter a chat room, but the one that we respond to and discuss on the show here is the one up on BillyCBoxing.com. And those guys were helping me out, telling me that the commercials were looking good and sounding good, which is important because we're required to, with our television network deals, to have them. And the last couple of days, we've been experiencing some technical issues. And I want to thank all of the great engineers at Microsoft, because they're the ones that effed it all up. And we're back, Sal. We're back. I didn't lose you. I got you back. People get to see your green shirt and the salute to you behind you, and all of that stuff. But before we went to break, we were talking about the undercard, so I'll fill you in on that. First and foremost, the show is going to kick off with Sean Porter going up against Thomas Delorme in what is going to be an interesting fight. Thomas Delorme is a real tall guy, and we all know how Sean Porter fights. Now, that's going to be live on Fox, and that's going to start 2 hours before the pay-per-view. So boxing's going to start early that day, so it's going to be a full day of boxing for us, that's for sure. Also on that card that we'll get to see would be a couple of unbeaten prospects, Juan Heraldez and Jose Miguel Barago going at it. So we got a decent fight there, which will be on regular TV on Fox. Now, as far as the pay-per-view undercard, I'm not impressed, Sal. I'm not impressed. Listen, Gervonta Davis is a fighter that I'm really looking forward to his development. All right, I love this kid.
I like him very much.
Yeah. I think he shows a lot of promise. I just don't want him to end up like Adrian Broner. And on the other hand, the kid was brought up pretty coddled. All right, he's shown his skill set in his last 2 fights against good opposition. So the coddling hasn't seemed to hurt him. But you can't regress now, and I kind of think that with his opponent that he's fighting now, Francisco Fonseca, who's going to be fighting, is a decent fighter, but not the level that you'd want to see in a real fight. I think this is just a showcase fight, and Gervonta Davis should not have any problem with him. And my attitude about pay-per-view, Sal, is that the fights on them, and maybe this is because I was so used to the way they used to be, but the fights on the pay-per-view should all be, what I like to term as significant fights. Yes, we get to see Gervonta Davis. Yes, he's going to put on a show, I'm sure, but it's not against a guy that I would like to see on a pay-per-view. I don't have a problem with a showcase fight on Fox or ESPN or even Showtime. But on a pay-per-view, I would like to see a much better fight. That's the co-main event. Then Badou Jack is taking on Nathan Cleverly. That fight I like. To me, that fight would be a worthwhile, pay-per-view undercard fight. I like it. Badou Jack is one of Floyd Mayweather's fighters that has gotten better and better. And he's had some bumps in his road. He was also a guy that was coddled, ended up getting knocked out, but he has gotten better and better since he's come back. That loss has helped him. This is why I try to tell young boxing fans that losing a fight does not mean the end of your career, and Jack is a great example of it. I like that fight. And then opening up the telecast is a non-title fight. Andrew Tabiti is taking on Steve U.S.S. Cunningham. It's a typical youth versus age type of a fight, but Steve U.S.S. Cunningham has been out of the game for a bit and is a shell of himself, in my opinion, even though he's always a tough out. I'm not sure what to think of that, but all in all, Sal, the 3 fights that are on the undercard and then the Floyd WWE event against Conor McGregor, to me, doesn't equal a pay-per-view worthy card, especially a $100 pay-per-view card. What's your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you, and I think the undercard, aside from Gervonta Davis, I like him, and I want to see him, and I want to see him progress along. I think he's a sharp young guy, and I think he, as long as he keeps his head about him, I think we're going to see great things from him in the future. And we could see if we can get the other fights underway. But this whole thing to begin with, Billy, you and I share the same thoughts. It's tough for me to swallow. It really is, and it's going to be entertaining, and I think that's the only value, and possibly a shock value is going to be if McGregor gets lucky and could land one of those barrage of punches that can hurt Mayweather and pull an upset of the century. And that's the curiosity that people might be interested in seeing. The bottom line is, though, otherwise it's going to be a snooze fest. It's going to be what we predict. He's going to go out there. He's going to get winded, and Mayweather's going to put him out of his misery by the 6th or 8th round. And it doesn't call for the only fight it calls for. This is it. This is the fluff without the stuff, as I always say. This is all they want to see is the McGregor Mayweather fight. Doesn't have to be an undercard. People aren't buying this ticket for the undercard. They're buying it for the McGregor Mayweather fight, and that's it. They're just filling up the stuff just to showcase. There's going to be maybe one or two knockouts. They're trying to time out what time the fight's going to come on. And so they know what they're doing. And the showcase for Davis, that's exactly what it is. He's going to look good. He's going to do his thing, and it's going to be leveraging him for future notoriety and to show his talents on another level against another opponent, maybe more worthy than the one he's going to face.
Well, you're right. I mean, every time I've ever discussed, the pay-per-views with producers and stuff like that, that's the exact model that they say. People are buying, people are buying it for the main one, but it's just what made pay-per-view. You see what happened? What people forget. Which y'all must have forgot. What people forget is that, 20, 30 years ago when you started getting pay-per-views, we were getting pay-per-views as a creme de la creme collection of fights, and that's why they were worthy and justified to be a pay-per-view. So, you would see good fights on a regular basis, either on the cable networks or on regular television, and then it will culminate into a pay-per-view, and you would have the main pay-per-view fight, but the other three fights would all be very good ones that I agree, you're not buying a pay-per-view for it, but you're certainly happy that that it will happen. And what happened with the industry over time was that we got all the garbage fights on television, and the only good fights became pay-per-view. So the sport actually fleeced its fans once more. And I think what's happened over the last handful of years is the fact that because boxing, and we both have admitted this, and many people agree, that boxing is on an upswing, especially this year. We've had some great fights. And,
absolutely,
now what you want to do is you don't want to regress. It's like the old saying, two steps forward, three steps back. You don't want to do that. And, a pay-per-view, and Floyd Mayweather, of all people, has an opportunity, or had the opportunity, to get things back on track, regardless of his, WWE type of fight that we're expected to watch with he and McGregor. But the truth of the matter is if they had put together a kick-ass undercard that were all pay-per-view worthy fights, I could see this breaking all the records and stuff like that. I still don't see it happening. I don't see this fight breaking the Mayweather Pacquiao pay-per-view record. I just don't see it. I see, mostly MMA fans buying this fight, and the way, and I've been talking about this all week, the way a lot of MMA fans do it is collection. They'll have a bunch of people come over to one person's house. So from a pay-per-view number standpoint, they're getting one pay-per-view and 20 sets of eyes watching it. Whereas boxing generally, especially over the last decade, has been the complete opposite. Everybody buys it themselves and watches it at home. So I would have liked to have seen a much better undercard. And to be honest with you, I would have liked to have seen this undercard announced a lot sooner so that people could be talking about it. I think that's also indicative of the egos that we're dealing with between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. What do you think?
I think you're 100% right on. I mean, this undercard should have been put together, should have been promoted a lot earlier than what we see in front of us right now. And no, you're 100% right on target. And as I said, this is all about McGregor-Mayweather. It's nothing about anybody else. They're just filling that in to see what they could do, and they're orchestrating, timing it. They know what fight might likely end in a knockout, what's going to go to the distance, because they got to do it all timing. I'm telling you, this whole thing is orchestrated like a ballet or like whatever.
It's orchestrated. It's orchestrated like a WWE event.
That's what I was going to say. That you're right. I know.
Hey, listen.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take another break, and we're not going to lose Sal because we kicked Microsoft to the curb. And when we come back, I want to talk a little about the undercard extensively. Sean Porter Delorme. I'm interested in that. Now I'm saying undercard. It's a different network, but it's at the same place. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set your desired pace and temperature. With our new water treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you are with us today. And just saw my girl, Emily Harney. Yeah, you remember Emily. She's part of the show, and hopefully we can get her back. I want Emily to come on down to our event, Sal, August 25th and 26th.
Absolutely.
Beautiful St. Simon's. I mean, she'll have a great day. She knows Marlon. I mean, Emily, I'm talking to Emily like she's here. Emily, Marlon Starling's going to be there. Mike Weaver, Bobby Ches. So come on down.
And you and I, Bill, we're going to be there.
Yeah, well, you know, and Emily Harney, hopefully. She can take pictures. She's the boxing's best photographer, you know, so she can take some pictures.
Where was she the night of my comeback fight?
Well, you know, she was probably taking pictures out of, you know, main event. You know, Emily's getting snooty now. She's only doing all the main big gigantor. For all I know, she's going to be in Vegas shooting the McGregor-Mayweather fight. I don't know. But
probably.
Anyway, Sean Porter against Thomas Delorme. I like this fight. You know, the one you know that I love Sean Porter.
I love him too. I love the neutron missile guided hooks and right hands.
Well, the thing I love about him is, you know, he never stops. The problem
never stops. I love him. Well, I really do.
He's got the North Korea guided missiles because he doesn't know where they're going to end up. You know,
so hey, it's
you like that.
Scud.
You like that, right? But you know, that's the only problem. You know, his accuracy or you know is a little yet to be. You know, it's TBD. You know, to be determined. You know, but you know, I don't want this to, you know, I just think Delorme is going to be a decent fight for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it will be a decent fight, and I really do like Sean Porter. He's a great fighter, well conditioned, punches bell to bell, 12 rounds, 10 rounds, whatever it takes, and he is. I love him. He's a great guy, and I think if he connects with those punches and bunches that he throws, he's going to have a good night for him. But it's going to be a good fight. I think it's a real good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The tall body of Delorme, to me, has a big it has a big X on it for Sean Porter. He's got to work that body. I see Sean Porter stopping Delorme. No disrespect to Thomas Delorme. I just think Sean Porter is a totally different animal for Delorme. Porter has been in there, with the best. So I'm thinking he's going to break him down and stop him in this fight, and I think that that fight would be a pretty good pre-fight, get you going for a night of boxing that's going to culminate with a snooze fest between McGregor and Mayweather. What do you think?
I think you're right across the board, and it's like I used to say. I loved fighting the taller opponents because you got more body range to do. You feint, you do this, you get inside, you bang with a right hand, you come up with a hook. You got you bully them inside, you uppercut, you overhand rights. But the body, you give that much body, and with a tall, lean guy, and you can work your way in there and just bang that body, and the rest will come down to it for you. And I think that's exactly what I see. And this fight should go about 6 rounds, maybe 8.
Last night there was some fights that took place, and in the super featherweight division, Charles Hurtado improved to 20-5 with 11 knockouts when he picked up his 11th when he scored an 8th round. When he scored an 8th round technical split decision over Miguel Gonzalez, who drops to 20-3. The way the scores were, and by the way, accidental head but caused the fight to be stopped at 32 seconds of the 8th round. 78-75, 77-76 for Hurtado, and one judge had it 78-75. Also on the card in the lightweight division, Christian Gonzalez improved to 17-1 when he scored a 3rd round knockout over Daniel Perales, who drops to 10-11. And in the featherweight division, Francisco Esparza improved to 6-0 with a draw. When you can look at it as improving to or dropping to, when he and Fernando Fuentes battled to a 6-round draw. Fuentes, he becomes 12 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw with 4 knockouts. The way it worked, 58-56, and 2 judges had a 57-57. So that's what took place last night. In the boxing world, Thursday night fights. We got some more fights scheduled for tonight, but we got some emails here. Sal, you ready?
Yes, sir.
My man Jesse says, "Hey Billy C and Sal, I saw the undercard for Floyd versus Conor, and it looks all right. The one fight I like is Juan Hernandez against Jose Barago, 2 undefeated prospects fighting for their position to move up. Both fight hard and are heavy hitters. It should be good. I also like the Porter Delorme fight, in that Porter can't afford a loss because he's moving up quickly. Delorme is tough and has the skills." Shorten Porter's been there and done that. He's a former world champion. He's already climbed the ladder. He's a likable guy, and he's an action-packed fighter. He's interesting to watch. What I find real interesting in the email so far, Sal, is that Jesse is picking the fights that are going to be on before the pay-per-view. So, when we look at this undercard, technically, yes, it's the undercard, but it's not the undercard for the fights that you're shelling out $100 for, So, I agree that those 2 fights are good ones, but for $100, I like one of the 4 fights that are on the pay-per-view. He says, "How do you see the Gilberto Ramirez versus Jesse Hart fight? It's a big test for both of these guys. Hart can punch and Ramirez can box." A lot of people think that Gilberto Ramirez has been coddled. And my thoughts on this is Jesse Hart's kind of been coddled too. It depends how you look at it. When they made this fight, Sal, I wondered why Jesse Hart was getting this fight. I think that they were rushing him in a sense. I mean, Ramirez, he's, he got his shot and he's a belt holder, but I thought that Jesse Hart, they were moving him along a little slower, possibly for a showdown down the road or possibly to, get a shot at a belt a little bit later. In a way, I think that they're rushing him a bit, even though he's got enough fights under his belt. They haven't been against top-level opposition. Is this what's happening with the sport? You coddle a fighter and then get him a title shot and then hope he wins, because if he doesn't, it kind of, the way fans look at it, and this isn't my opinion, but the way fans look at it, all of a sudden he becomes an opponent. I think they're rushing Jesse a little bit.
Yeah, possibly they are, but let's try and look at it from a promoter and from a manager standpoint and a fighter standpoint. This has been a unique formula that was devised in the 70s and 80s to have a fighter work up on an undefeated status, maybe not face the most world-class opposition on his climb up the ladder, and then you release it and unfold and reveal what is going to be revealed the night of his world title shot. I mean, I could tell you they did this time and time again. One of my last manager's fighters, he did the classic book and was with Charlie. Was it Charlie White Lightning Brown? I think he got him a shot with either Harry Arroyo. The guy was undefeated. I don't want to tell you how he got that record, but he pretty much went across a little tour and had knockout after knockout after knockout. They finally released him after he worked his way up and got a top ranking in the system, and then they put him in the ring with Harry Arroyo, and Harry Arroyo, I think, just destroyed him. I don't know, but that's just it. You have a package. You want to unwrap it. You want to reveal it. So you take care of the package. You see what's going to happen, and then guess what? The night of the fight, hey, he either has the goods to make it a fight and to make it work for him and to sustain a career, or he's going to be dubbed the not the real deal, and he's going to become an opponent for a little while, or he's going to either make or break, and he's going to get out of the game. But meanwhile, you're marketing your guy, and that's what some of these people have done, and that's what they continue to try and do. And they're ready to reveal and unwrap the package the night they step in the title fight. That's it.
Well, we'll see.
It's not the best way, but like I said, we like to see fighters proven with equal opposition, this and that. But I'll admit, maybe I didn't have the best opposition coming up. I fought a couple tough guys here and there, but if I was going to get leverage for a title fight, I feel in my heart of hearts, you know what? If I put me in with somebody, I would have been already in my mind confident enough to handle any situation that came there, because I did have those fights and those moments in between that was a proving ground and grooming ground.
But the thing is that, and we talk about this all the time, if you're not given an increase of, if your level of opposition doesn't increase, fight after fight as you're building up, you're not getting better. If you're constantly, being fed the same level of opposition and you're not getting a chance to get better. Yeah, you're looking good because it's easy. It becomes automatic. It becomes, you get bored in a sense. And all of a sudden, you leapfrog over these next, fighters that you should, this progression of fighters that you should be facing in order to help hone your skills and get you better. And all of a sudden, you go from, a guy you're dominating to a guy that, is eons above that level. And it's not, it may be good financially for the people that have invested the money for you, in you, and financially for you as a fighter. But, for you to become successful, and win, now everything's in your hands. And I just don't think they arm the fighters with enough bullets if they're not giving them the experience. And this is going to be that case. And Thomas, talking about Sean Porter and Thomas Delorme is a perfect example of that. He was coddled. He won a title. All of a sudden, once you win the title, now all of a sudden you're fighting top 10 guys that have worked themselves into a position, and he ultimately lost his belt. So, or actually, I think he challenged for a title, and then got blown out. I think that was more like it. But It just it's just the way it is. I don't know. I think old school, increasing your level of opposition, progressively increasing it, fight after fight is how you build up a fighter that once you get that world title shot, you hold on to that belt for a while.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that's good. And I was fortunate enough to have my fights getting progressively a little more challenging here and there, and it was great. It's a good way to learn. You got to do it that way. And Lou Duva was a master of that. With his pool of fighters, he would give them that opposition. He would escalate it, and he would challenge them. I mean, he cultivated a lot of champions from that model and doing it the right way. And there's many other managers and promoters out there that have done it the correct way, the old school way. It's just a contemporary flash in the pans. Guys that are trying to use any influence or connections or money to leverage their guys up there to get them in a shot position, and then the package becomes opened up and revealed, and guess what? It goes in a closet. It's not going to be used again. That's the whole difference. But yes, naturally progressing along with more and more stiffer competition and raising the level of a fighter's awareness and skill set is exactly the way to mold and shape a fighter for future championships.
Yeah, no, I mean, it gives the fighter the best opportunity.
Experience is the best teacher, Bill.
Yeah, well, Sister Mary Elephant used to be a decent teacher too for Cheech and Chong, but that's another story. But we got another email. This one is, and we're gonna have Alex Purtell join us here in about 15 minutes. But
great.
This one's from your man Joel and my man Joel.
All right,
Joel. He says, "Hey Billy C, with the announcement of yesterday's pay-per-view undercard from Mayweather McGregor, I was curious about your and Sal's thoughts. If it was above or met or below your expectations. I personally felt with such a big main event, the undercard was going to suffer with no names or one-sided fights. But I am interested in the Tabiti versus Steve Cunningham fight, as this is a crossroads fight for Cunningham. I want to see Badou Jack against Nathan Cleverly. However, Gervonta Davis is fighting another sitting duck in Fonseca. I look at Fonseca, and he's fought a chock-full opponents of under 500. He says, I was back on the fence ordering this pay-per-view, but with this undercard, I think my interest went back. Okay, then he's got another question. So let's start with that. I think it's below my expectations. I would have thought that, and in my opinion, I thought it was below my expectations. I would have liked to have seen a kick-ass undercard. The Nathan Cleverly-Badou Jack fight, I like. Gervonta Davis, I want to see more of, but I agree with Joel. I would have liked to have seen him in a much more significant, harder fight. And as far as the Cunningham Tabiti fight, I guess based on Cunningham's experience, it's going to be a tough fight. I just don't see. I don't know. Maybe it's a better undercard than I think. I just don't. I think it's a good undercard for anything other than a pay-per-view. I think that's the way I'm looking at it. If it was an undercard for an HBO or Showtime event, I got no problem with it. Is it interesting fights? Yes. Are they pay-per-view level? In my opinion, no. What do you think, Sal?
Oh, I share your thoughts there, and I think, like I said, they orchestrate these things. They know they can't have a night of instant knockouts and have 2 hours of dead time showing old clips waiting for the main event. That fight's going to go on, what, about 11 o'clock, you think, the Mayweather?
Well, the main event, yeah, but I mean they
got to fill 2 hours worth. So like I said, they could calculate, they could see with these fights going the distance, some of them ending in a knockout. It's a crap game, and how appropriate for Vegas. I think these cards, and I understand exactly what you mean. These fights, maybe they're not pay-per-view worthy. The undercard and it's the fluff filling in the stuff. That's all. Because the only thing that people are going to really recognize or want to see, and they're coming out for, is the Mayweather-McGregor fight. This is going to give the fans something else to do as a preliminary. And yes, it's going to showcase Gervonta Davis. It's going to be a good fight, maybe with Cleverly and Jack. And it's going to happen to be, I think it's a little better card than what we're slamming it to be. But I just think, as you said, is it truly, if it was the undercard, is it truly pay-per-view worthy? And no, I don't think these fights stand alone would be. But the only event we're really going to want to see and pay attention to in between is going to be the final, which is going to be the Mayweather-McGregor. The M&M. That's an MMM fight.
Yeah. It's an MMN. It's an M&M fight.
It's an MMM. MMA,
He says, lastly, are you excited as every football game with the NFL preseason underway? Have you watched any preseason games yet, or do you wait until the regular season to happen? He says, I hope the Jets do well. Curious how Jay Cutler does in Miami when he takes over for Tannehill. Have a great weekend. You too, Joe.
Thanks,
I'm not impressed with preseason, although I did watch some of the Bears rookie quarterback that they made the stupidest trade on draft day with the 49ers over. I mean, the kid looked good, but they trade away a pick for one slot. The 49ers weren't going to pick him anyway. I mean, it was a stupid management move, but the kid looked good. I mean, I glance at stuff like that, but preseason means nothing. As far as the Jets are concerned, it's a cursed franchise. They're going nowhere. It's sad. I'm a lifelong Jet fan, and the sad truth is I'll be going to my grave never seeing them go to the Super Bowl again. I was just a kid, 8 years old, when they won the Super Bowl the first time and the only time that they've appeared in the Super Bowl. So I doubt very much I'll ever get to see it again. But preseason, I wish that the NFL didn't really do preseason the way they do it. I know that the players have to basically practice with new members of the teams, etc. Draft picks, trades, figure out who's going to be the starter, etc., etc. I get it, but the preseason games, especially for me, I'm a sports bettor, and they mean nothing. And it's hard because a lot of people, get all wrapped up into them. But really, the games mean nothing. What do you think about preseason? Do you even give it a thought?
Well, growing up, I didn't realize preseason was starting in August. I think they're elongating these seasons and giving more and more. I know they practice in August, but football I associate with the winter months, and baseball I associate with the summer months. And I think there's a lot of overlapping and everything else right now. But I'm as you know, as of the other night, I became a great Jet fan, and I'm gonna have to say this, Billy. I want to see the Jets in the Super Bowl before you and I leave this beautiful planet. So that is possible. Like Conor McGregor has a chance against Mayweather. So does the Jets have a chance to get in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's a big chance, but you know what? Hey, what can happen over the next couple of years? They could draft some good players. They can cultivate a good team. In the spirit of Joe Willie Namath and Pat Ryan, who I met the other day, he was a great guy. I think we're going to root the Jets and see what they could do.
Well, I'm a diehard Jet fan.
Hello.
I'm a diehard Jet fan, and Joe Namath was my idol, but I don't think it's looking good for them. But anyway, that's that for emails, and I appreciate that. And they announced another one of the World Boxing Super Series fights that will be taking place in the Cruiserweight division. Junior Dorticos, who's undefeated, and he's also the WBA World Cruiserweight Champion, takes on Dmitry Kutuzov, and that fight's going to be taking place on September 23rd in Texas, at the Alamo Dome. So that's another good one. I love this World Boxing Super Series, and so far I have all the fights. Let me see. Do I have them all? I have the ones that have been listed. I think I missed one, so if any of you guys can help me, I have the Marius Briedis and Mike Perez. I have that date. I have the Dorticos date. I have George Groves, Jamie Cox, and I have the Chris Eubank Jr. Yildirim. Those dates I have. Did they set a date for Usyk Huck and Vladzarek Gassiev and Callum Smith Sokoland and also Brahma Rob Brand? I think that one was set. So if any of you guys can help me out with the dates on that, I would greatly appreciate it. So drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. And I like this fight, Sal. And as you know, I like this series. And what I like most about the series is that the fighters themselves, which incidentally there's no American fighters there, the fighters themselves were more than willing to enter this tournament with titles on the line and everything. And that's the mentality of a fighter. That should be the mentality of a fighter. That's the mentality of fighters we see in England. We see it in all fighters except the U.S. fighters. The fighters in the U.S. are seemingly afraid to fight other quality fighters. They want big paydays for no fights. Gervonta Davis in his next fight is a good example of that. I'm just using that as an example because, as I stated earlier, I'm a big fan of Gervonta Davis. But it's kind of disheartening to see that it's such an obvious trend. It sticks out like a sore thumb, Sal.
No, you are right. And, it's going to be a little bit of the minutia we're going to have to deal with and see what happens. But it's part of the game, Bill. Part of the game. You got to take the good with the bad. And hopefully the cream will eventually rise to the top. And that's where we get the good competitive fights. But, yeah, I was very very shocked with the apathy shown any of our United States fighters going into that Super Series of tournaments.
The what? What'd you say?
What'd you say? You were telling there was no U.S. fighters earlier in the Super Series.
In the World Boxing Super Series.
That's amazing. Why is that?
Well,
because they're so coddled. Because they want to.
Yeah, that's damn right. That's what I was just saying. I know. My point is,
I'm trying to say why is that the mentality? Is that what we're going to deal with? I mean, it's just a shame. That's all. I'm just reiterating what you said. It's just a darn shame.
Yeah,
it really is. Because we like to see some domestic guys put it on the line, bite the bullet, and say, "Hey, we're going to prove we're the best," and that's it. That's the fighter's mentality back in the old days.
Well, it seems to be the fighter's mentality outside the U.S. Once you bring in the U.S. into the mix, now the fighters, oh, no, I don't want to fight him. No, I don't want to fight that guy. Oh, if I fight him, it's got to be in my backyard, my gloves, my trainer. I get to come out first. I get to go be announced
this kind of purse, I know. And when you give it up to the rules, regulations, and somebody else's decision making as far as tournament structure, yeah, it's I guess like I said. A manager and promoter, what they want to do is orchestrate and tailor and have a game plan of how they're going to leverage and use their fighters along the path. And when you sacrifice or say, we're going to push all that aside right now because we're going to enter a tournament, that's the mentality and mindset of why you don't see any U.S. fighters in here.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's not a good sign for them. But
no.
Anyway, hey, listen, let's take a short break, Sal, and when we come back, we're scheduled to have Alex Purtell join us and give his thoughts on a bunch of stuff. We'll toss some questions at Alex and see if he can hit the softball. What do you think?
I look forward to it, Alex. I love Alex. He's a good man.
All right, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And speaking of being with us, joining us right now, all the way from sunny Connecticut, is my man, Alex Purtell. He's with both of us. Sal, me, Alex. Good morning, Alex. What's going on?
Oh, good morning, Billy C. How are you?
Oh, I guess Alex doesn't have his video. We got the deer in the headlights photo of Alex up there. Well, you don't have your video.
See, I told you, red shirt.
It's weird. I mean, oh wait a minute. I do have an X there. Why is that?
Because you're not computer. You're so used to working with the Apple, and you know the funny thing is
this is the first time I've used it since they updated it.
Well, let me tell you, the stupid Microsoft has screwed up my the whole operation we got going on here, and today we finally got it going the way it should. And because we run multiple systems here, every function that we do for the show has a separate system, and all of a sudden they were running different operating systems, and it wasn't handshake. And now, as we're doing this show, all of a sudden I got they want to put back what I just took off. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. But yeah, we still got a solid shot of you, but no big deal.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I should have tested it or something. I called you before the show.
No problem. So what's your I know we had some bunch of stuff to talk about, Alex. First and foremost, what was your thoughts of the Lomachenko performance last week?
He is there's so many superlatives that have been used for this guy. Virtuoso, I think, is a great one because he does everything just beautifully, and there is, I mean, he's one of those reasons why when people talk about boxing, there's a beauty to boxing. It's a poetry in motion. His style is really amazing. He is a bully. What Timothy Bradley was saying, I think, was a good point. I mean, the way he got right in his face at one point, in Mariaga's face, and he was about 6 inches away from his face. It was amazing. His punches come from all angles. He's so fast, His mastery of distance is incredible. Yeah, he's beautiful to watch.
Well, could I add something? Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I thought maybe his value went down a little bit in the last fight, Alex, because he dominated, but I don't know. He just seemed bigger, and I have just such a hang up when they put these guys in mismatches, and Lomachenko is better than that. It was almost like a regression.
Well, I mean, I thought it definitely was a mismatch. I mean, it was fun to watch in the sense of it's if you're a cat lover, it's fun to watch a cat play with and kill a mouse, and that's what it looked like.
Good analogy.
And I think, but you're right. It was a complete mismatch. Absolutely. I'm not sure that was Mariaga's fault. He gave what he could. It's just that Lomachenko is that good, and that's the thing that I kind of like. Some people might be really turned off by that, but I like the bully quality of Lomachenko. He's a fighter, I got into the sport from watching Mike Tyson. I mean, you don't get much bigger bullies.
Good point.
What were you going to say, Sal?
No, I was going to say what I loved about Lomachenko, and thanks, Bill. He is one of the reasons that you could say that boxing will use the example of pound for pound best. Because it's you cannot ever see this guy fighting for a heavyweight championship of the world, but scaled down to his weight division, this guy did it all, does it all. So he's one of the reasons and examples of why we look at fighters pound for pound as being the best. And I'll tell you what, I don't think he lost too much market sense there. I think, like Alex shared, I like to see that in a fighter, a bully, confident fighter. It wasn't always just that way, but this guy went out there. He said, "Hey, you don't even belong in the ring with me. I'm going to show you what I could do," and that's it. And you know what? Not only you, but anybody I face, it doesn't belong in the ring with me because I'm the best. That's the aura he sends off. That's what I got from that fight and his bullying technique. And I think he'll do well throughout his career no matter who he fights. But he is a good example of why they came out with the viewpoint of a fighter being pound for pound the best. That's all I'm going to add.
I think that's an excellent point, and I think that that's definitely you feel that as you're watching him, that he's putting everything together that if you watch this sport, you know that a fighter should be doing, and you can imagine, oh my God, if a fighter was in this mold at any weight, he would be, it's almost like you're seeing a superhero. And that's really what the pound for pound sort of thing does. It transcends the sport, and it's this idea that, wow, at any weight class, that guy is showing supremacy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, that's a great point. And, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Boy, I'm really sorry I can't get my video on.
That's okay. I'm having to stare down with you.
I wonder what picture it is.
I'm fogging up your glasses.
Billy C., I had a friend of mine that was on vacation this week up in the Lake George area, and I said to him, he was doing a lot of kayaking, and I said to him that supposedly there is a legendary mustachioed lake monster in there. And he was looking for it, but he didn't see it.
Yeah, well, it's usually on a boat, though. Not
what's
not
the name
in
of the boat, by the way,
not in the water, But hey, Alex, we also didn't get a chance to talk to you and get your thoughts about the Garcia Adrian Broner fight. What was your thoughts on that?
I was a little disappointed. It was one of those things where I was hoping for a brawl and a very strict boxing match broke out. But again, like Lomachenko, we saw dominance. I don't think it was close. Like Adrian Broner said, I thought Mikey Garcia handled him, and he showed he's one of the best fighters in the world too. But it wasn't the fireworks I hoped. I think one of the big problems with Adrian Broner, and it's really unfortunate about, the sort of Floyd Mayweather counterpuncher style, is that they're just not busy enough. He just doesn't throw enough punches. That's one of the problems. He's always going to see himself sort of behind, in a situation where he's sort of fighting back on the cards. He's like coming from a behind standpoint, because he's just not active enough. Because even if you throw, a couple of flurries around and they all hit, it's just not enough, especially if the other guy is being aggressive. So I think that's one of those things that we found ourselves saying a lot about Adrian Broner. I think it's still true. One of the things about it I think that was cool was for all the talk about his lack of discipline. He certainly came in shape.
Yeah, that was a good positive about it. But and I agree with you. But I looked at it. And I know Sal and I have talked about this fight a lot. I looked at it as a great performance by Mikey Garcia, doing what he had to do and making sure that he wasn't going to get robbed in that fight. Adrian Broner hasn't really stood in the pocket and inflicted that toe-to-toe type fight ever, but he did it more as a smaller fighter in the lightweight division. But he's since changed his style, and it's almost like he thinks fighters are just going to lose to him without him having to try, and that's what's mind-boggling. And then he's still delusional, thinking that people want to come and see him. I don't know, man. I don't know what Sal's whispering in his ear, but it's it can't be good, Sal.
No, don't worry about it. I wouldn't be. I'd say, you got to get out there, kid. Go out there and be a wrecking machine. That's what I would tell him.
So, Alex, what do you think of the undercard in the that was announced for the Mayweather fight?
I think, showcase fights. I think it's good to be able to see Gervonta Davis. I think that, he's definitely a young, up-and-coming star, one of the bright spots of the sport. But, yeah, he's not matched in too deep. It's a replacement opponent, isn't it? Didn't the original fall out?
Who? For who?
Gervonta Davis's opponent.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to see him in a real fight. It's a showcase fight. My point about the undercard is not that they're not good fights. It's just that they're not good pay-per-view fights, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Which unfortunately we've gotten used to that of real crappy undercards. This thing is I don't imagine that this is much more than a commercial. I watched some of the All Access, and dude, it's hard to watch. They're both. It really is, in a way, it's a good fight for our time, because it really seems like we've been through the presidential campaign of this sort of battle of douches, and douchebaggery has won. And this fight is a battle of douches, the two biggest douches of both sports. So it's like it's hard to know who to root for. I don't know. Mayweather, when he just has the bag of money, it's just disgusting. And McGregor, is just profane. I don't know. It's really not appealing to the best of us. I really wonder how well it's going to do. I think it's, as Sal, I think, was saying earlier in the show, it's really being driven by the popularity of MMA. Boxing is going to win, but what are they going to win? I really wonder.
I'm wondering if Summer's Eve douche is going to win. There was a lot of douches. There was a lot of douches in that.
That should be one of the sponsors.
I mean, come on. I mean, Sal, you and I have had this talk about promoting douches and other things, and that's Alex's word of the day. But that's funny. But yeah, the sad thing is now Larry Holmes coming out saying that he's got a good chance of winning. McGregor does, and You know,
I know. Does Larry have a piece of this action?
I don't know. I don't know. But the other thing was pretty comical. I had issued an official request to Bob Bennett of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, both as a letter and an email. He never responded. And basically, I read the letter on air, and it was basically asking him how he approved that fight and how he had been saying that Nevada State Athletic Commission is all about safety, et cetera, et cetera. And he kind of answered all those questions in an article that was published on another website. And his reasoning was that Mayweather is aging and he's lost this step and he's this and that. And then the next day, Floyd Mayweather comes out and Stephen A. Smith interviews, starts saying all the same stuff, you know, like it was, determined by he and Bob Bennett. And, you know, it's like they're grasping for straws to try to sell this. And it doesn't surprise me that the interest in terms of live seating and stuff, they're not sold out. They have thousands of seats available left. I don't think it's going to break the pay-per-view records. Alex, what do you think?
I wonder. That'll be very interesting. I do think that on the undercard, you know, you do get psyched to see Gervonta Davis. The Cleverly versus Badu Jack fight is pretty good. And the Sean Porter versus Delorme fight is not bad. You know, to me, the thing that is the eyesore, the thing that I have a problem with is Mayweather-McGregor. So, I won't be watching it. I'm going to be at Foxwoods CES very wisely, and I think they're doing this now for both these upcoming events, is putting together a live boxing show that night. And then if you got a ticket for that, you could get into the pay-per-view and watch the farce. So I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be able to get to drive home while Mayweather and McGregor are fighting. I do think that it's good. I think it is going to do well. I don't think it's going to beat Mayweather-Pacquiao, though. I agree with you there.
What do you think, Sal?
Well, early on, I was with good old cousin Jeremy. I thought that this fight would transcend and would surpass the Pacquiao Mayweather world record setting pay-per-view. And I was looking at all aspects and all races and creeds and classes wanting to see this fight, and not only the boxing audience but the pay-per-view, the MMA audience. So I thought it was going to really be, but later on, my heart of hearts, you realize, as I do and we all do, that most real boxing fans or boxers rather save their money and wait for the real boxing fight that's going to take place in September, less than a month later, between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. That's the real fight I wish we were talking about right now instead of this one. But this fight is going to be the fluff without the stuff. It's going to be a showcase. It's going to be an entertaining value. It's nothing more than just a shock appeal to see what's going to be happening. It shouldn't even be a sanctioned fight. We've said it for months now, but it is what it is, and they're going to pull in and grab in and hook in a couple of suckers like you and I and everybody else. But the real fight, and the only fight that I really wish we could be talking about right now, is the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight, because that's going to be a fight. That's going to be a war. That's going to be the real one, and that's going to be the fight. I can't wait till we dive into that and open up that gift package.
Well, I can't deny that. I mean, that is a real fight, and I'm looking forward to it. A couple of weeks after the farce that we're going to be down in St. Simon's for, but
the thing about Triple G versus Canelo, like Sal was just saying earlier about Lomachenko, is that, to me, there's a little bit of the shine off of it, but it actually makes it more intriguing as a matchup, was that Triple G was the guy that, like Lomachenko now, Lomachenko does have that aura about him that he could do no wrong in the ring, that sort of mystical pound-for-pound quality, like you realize you're seeing something spectacular. To me, it was Triple G before him that had that. Triple G kind of lost that in the Danny Jacobs fight, because even though Danny Jacobs didn't win, I thought the first time I watched it, I did think he won. Then I watched it again, and I scored it differently and had Triple G winning. Either way, the mystique of Triple G, that quality that made him, wow, you're really seeing something spectacular, kind of went away in that fight. I saw, wow, he has trouble with guys who are good at distance, who time him well. And then I realized, wow, maybe Cinnamon can do some of those things. So in a way, the fact that some of the mystique of Triple G is gone, it makes the matchup with Canelo better.
Well, here's the thing, though. Canelo, and I've said this for years now, Canelo, listen, Canelo's a great fighter. I love watching him and stuff, but he possesses a very visible weakness that he has not been able to overcome. And what that weakness is that he cannot land effective punches while he's on the move. The great fighters can. Sugar Ray Leonard, even Floyd Mayweather, if he wanted to exchange, he probably could. Manny Pacquiao, etc. These guys were Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Robinson. I mean, you can go on and on. I mean, these guys were able to, not only mix it up with an opponent, but while they were using their agility and footwork and movement, they were also able to inflict damage on their opponent, whether it be a stiff jab or a power punch. I mean, these guys were able to do it. Saul Canelo Alvarez can't. He is so textbook and so, robotic in a way that he has to plant his feet before he can effectively land punches on his opponent, which puts him in a position where he's right in front. This is why he was so ineffective against Floyd Mayweather. Every time he did that, ready to inflict damage on Floyd, Floyd wasn't there anymore. When he does that against Triple G is going to be there waiting, and it becomes an exchange. Who's got the harder punch? Who could take the better punch? At this stage of the game, even though I agree that Triple G has looked not as good as he has in his last two fights, he hasn't looked as good previously in his last two fights. I'm saying in his last two fights, he hasn't looked as good as he did previously. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And whether he needed a fight like this to wake him up again or what, I think that weakness that Canelo possesses is going to be the biggest reason why Triple G is going to come out on top, even though I think it's a 50-50 fight, though, Alex.
Wow. Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I mean, I think Canelo might be able to make up for that. I agree with what you're saying, but I think that Canelo might be able to make up for that with some well-timed body shots. That's the thing that we've never seen somebody do, is to really go after Triple G's guts, and I think Canelo will. So even if he is in those, and I think that'll make those exchanges really fun to watch. To me, and I think that's what Danny Jacobs showed me, is that, wait a minute, maybe Triple G isn't this destroyer like I thought. There's a few chinks in the armor, so that the fight that I thought he would just clobber Canelo, I'm not sure he will, because I do think that Canelo might be able to time him, because I think Jacobs did show that.
Well, does he's got more power than Jacobs, Sal?
Canelo?
Yeah.
I think Canelo has Jacobs has good punching power. We know that, and Jacobs was a big man that night. We know that. I think Canelo has good power. I think he can sit on his punches and deliver them. I know what you're saying as far as Canelo having to get set. I think he's not quite as much of a deficit as that statement does relay. I think that he is able to do a little bit more than just being that stationary target or fighter that has to plant and get set. I think that if you had asked, and we did talk about this fight a year and a half, 2 years ago, I automatically assumed it was going to be all Triple G from bell to bell, and he was going to win by a knockout. Now, as you suggest, I do concede and see that it could be a 50-50 fight going in because of Triple G's less than a stellar performance in his last 2 outings. But with that being said, don't ever doubt or count Triple G out for slipping. I feel in my heart of hearts that Triple G knows what's on the line. Triple G is a champion. Triple G is a warrior. And Triple G does know that his twilight of his career is right now. And he's going to rise to the occasion. I think he's going to surmount whatever he needs to do mentally, physically, spiritually. And I think he's going to give one of the best performances we've seen him in. With that being said, is he going to be so dominant and destroy Canelo? No, he's not. Canelo's going to do the same. He's going to rise to the occasion. I think all field game plays or fields being level, I just see Triple G being a heavier-handed fighter that's going to also bang Canelo Alvarez's body and hurt him on the arms, the body, and eventually up top to the head. So I see this fight being a classic, great fight, and a great exchange. I see an ebb and flow in the early rounds. I see middle rounds coming out, but I do see Triple G being dominant in the later rounds and ultimately catching and hurting Canelo Alvarez. That's what I see. But it's a great fight, great matchup, and yes, I do see it closer today than I would have seen it 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see the best Triple G that we can, and I wouldn't be surprised if after this fight he rides off into the sun. If he wins this fight, he rides off into the sunset because he would have gained all the recognition he wanted, and he gets to walk away on top. And Canelo is young enough where the loss isn't going to hurt him. I think the loss would hurt Triple G more because a lot of naysayers would say, see, he finally fought a real fighter.
Yeah, he's ordinary.
Yeah. But, hey, Alex, one last thing I want to ask you. What's your thoughts with Larry Holmes and his prediction or assessment of how McGregor could actually beat Floyd? I mean, I heard this many, many times when Klitschko, I don't know if you caught the show in the beginning, but I was showing the comparison. People used to always say that about Klitschko. Klitschko's nothing. All you got to do is, and then everybody would say the same thing, and nobody could do it for a decade. And quite honestly, the game plan that Larry Holmes mapped out for Conor McGregor is what everyone says all you got to do to beat Floyd, and he's 49-0. Nobody's been able to do it. What's your thoughts on that? And do you think Conor McGregor could do it?
Well, see, that's just it, is that I don't think I think to some degree what Larry did say is true. You have to, in order to beat Floyd's style, you need to overwhelm it. His style is based on counterpunching and picking off shots, slipping shots, and then making you pay for that. Well, how do you beat that? Overwhelm it. It's kind of like missiles. He's got a missile defense system. How do you overwhelm it? Since we're very likely to go into a nuclear war before this fight happens anyway, how do you beat a missile defense system? You overwhelm it by throwing lots of missiles at it. Well, that's what McGregor should do. Absolutely. That's what people should have done Floyd's whole career. Who did it effectively are the ones who did it best. Marcos Maidana, excuse me, to come at you throwing lots of incoming from lots of weird different angles. The thing is, what I know about McGregor, and it's not much, and it's based on that Jim Lampley interview that I forget that he did with somebody, where he talked about how CompuBox, and I can't believe I'm using that as an example, but he talked about CompuBox did some numbers on McGregor. He's a counterpuncher. So his style is not even the kind of attacking, overwhelming, lots and lots of punches style to do that against Floyd. So he's going to have to be fighting a style that he's not comfortable with, in a sport he's never been in, against probably one of the best guys of the last 20 years. So, yeah, how do you think he's going to do? I mean, I do think that it's funny that Larry is saying that, and it does make me wonder if he's getting a cut of maybe a local pay-per-view showing or something. But no, I don't see McGregor having any shot. There's nothing in his makeup, from what I know, the little I know of him, that could suggest he could do it.
Well, I mean, Floyd is promising us a knockout, and I think he'll get it because of the fatigue factor, not at the power. Or if Conor McGregor came dressed as a woman, then Floyd would definitely knock him out because he's knocked out many men.
Oh, that's wrong.
But anyway, hey, Alex, I appreciate you coming on and giving us your thoughts, and we'll look forward to next week's blast, my man.
All right, guys. Great to talk to you. Take care.
All right. That's my man, Alex Purtell, and giving us his thoughts. And, hey, you know what, Sal? He was right on there. So
I believe so.
Anyway, hey, listen, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap this up and do some other things. So don't go nowhere. We'll be back, I'm going to say about 2.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks. Like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Are you?
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's home for the barbecue rub and seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're watching and listening to the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us. And with me now is my partner in crime. I was going to say.
Who are you going to say?
I don't know. I didn't want to say. I was going to say culprit. I was going to say culprit. I don't know. But Sal Rocky Cenicola. And Sal, what's your final thoughts on Larry Holmes saying that? You think Alex has a point that maybe he's involved in this somehow monetarily? I just think that he was speaking the obvious for how to beat Floyd, but easier said than done.
No, it's like I've been saying. There's no Billy, as you said, and brilliantly, because it's a fact. There have been 49 other opponents beforehand that probably had some type of formula or could devise a way. Hey, I think I can give him a good fight. But then again, you know what? I'm going to just throw punches and bunches. That's what a fighter has to do with this guy. He's got to cut the ring off. He's got to get him in a corner. He can't let him run around the ring. And he's got to make a stand. And when he gets in punching range, if Floyd's close enough to punch you, you're close enough to punch him back. So get in there, bang the body, throw punches and bunches, wade through the arsenal that he's going to offer, and just hey, it's easier said than done. We know that, but that's been the textbook, the game plan of what so many fighters should have tried to do beforehand. And Floyd, like I said, is the matador in with bulls. He can move side to side. He can hit you and turn, and you're going to miss. He's not going to be there. He is a master of that. And you know what? I will never take away what his ability is. He's a world-class fighter. And whether we like the fact that he doesn't engage or not, the guy is a master. And I give him credit for that. And, you know, the only chance I've said all along McGregor has is to not respect Floyd, wade through any arsenal he's going to offer to McGregor, and just bang him all over the place, throw punches, hit him in the arms like Rocky Marciano did to Roland LaStarza, do whatever he could do to hit, and bang the body, bang the arms, throw punches and bunches, let your one punch set up the next punch, and just hopefully one of those unguided scuds will catch Floyd or hurt him or get his attention, and then you could jump on him. But you got to manhandle him. You got to throw him into the ropes. You got to use your arms, your open hand, or whatever you got to do, and you got to do the best you can just to be busy and not stop. And you know what? You never know what happens.
You know, I think you're right. The key, the biggest key, is to show absolute no respect to Floyd, which I don't think he deserves any respect either, inside the ring or outside the ring, for that matter. I think he's a scourge of a human being, but that's just my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't bet against Floyd. You know, he's going to win this fight. He's going to win it easily, and he's probably going to walk away with a knockout. On this day in boxing history, August 11th, 1990, Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker knocks out Juan Nazario in the first round to unify the world lightweight title, and that took place in Nevada, State Line, Nevada, that is. On this day in 1990, Hector Camacho wins a 12-round decision over Tony Balzadar to retain his WBO junior welterweight title, and that took place in State Line, Nevada, on the same card as Pernell Sweet Pea. On this day in 1987, the guy who changed Hector Camacho's career, Edwin Rosario, knocks out Juan Nazario in the 8th round to retain his WBA world lightweight title. It took place in Chicago. On this day in 1954, Archie Moore knocks out Harold Johnson in the 14th round to retain his world light heavyweight title, and that took place at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And finally, on this day, August 11th in 1899, George Little Chocolate Dixon retains his world featherweight title as a result of a 20-round draw with Eddie Santry. It took place at the Broadway Athletic Club in New York City. And that was a popular place to watch fights back in those days, were at the athletic clubs. Something that I don't think too many even exist today. Or men's club, they used to call it too. But anyway, that's what took place on this day in boxing history, and I'm glad to see that we got over this technical hump with our broadcast, Sal. And I look forward to it. I'll tell you what else I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to coming down and eating at your place. I mean, coming down and doing our event again in St. Simon's in a couple of weeks. But I'm really looking forward to trying some of your food. You know, I haven't really had any in a few weeks.
Absolutely, Bill, and we're gonna have the best of the best ready for you. And I'm gonna hand toss you a pie, and I know you like just a plain cheese like I do, because that's like my father said. He said, Salvatore, you want to make a good pizza, use the best of cheese, the best of flour, the best of the sauce, and you put it together. And that's the benchmark, and that's what we do. Have you ever tried our linguine and white clam sauce?
I'm not a seafood guy. I don't even like clams. I don't like nothing. None of that.
Okay, so forget about it. We won't do that. Have you had my homemade lasagna, eggplant parmesan, or
I don't know if
we gotta have a buffet for you.
I don't know if I
give
tried.
you assortment.
I don't know if I tried the lasagna. I'm a big lasagna guy. I
might have like baked ziti. The baked ziti is great alone, but if you put the bolognese sauce on, it's like a mini lasagna. It's phenomenal.
I like the bolognese. It's unbelievable. I love your the spinach. I love the way they do the spinach.
A little olive oil.
All right, that's it. That's it. I'm coming over there now. We'll do the show from your place for the next 2 weeks.
A little white wine.
That's all I need.
It's gonna be great.
That's all I need is to get fattened up anymore, But hey, make sure you have the scotch for me. I'll drink for me and Bobby and Marlon and Mike Weaver and Sherman and everybody else that's coming. So
it's gonna be fun. I'm so looking forward. Bobby Ches called me yesterday. We talked about it. He's excited coming down. We're gonna have a great time, Bill. And I got a couple more surprises. I just asked Vinny Pazienza if he can make it down. I don't know if he can, but we'll see. I'm waiting to hear back from him.
That'll be great. So hey, we want you guys to join us too. So don't forget, visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com. Click on the CPOM's banner. Call them. Stay there. That's where we're going to have the meet and greet. That's where we're going to show you one of our shows that we've done before it's airing on the networks, which are starting pretty soon. I think fall it's scheduled to start. So you'll get to see that first. Great. Some great stuff. You guys are going to love it. And stay at the CPOMs. We're going to play a little golf, and we'll watch the fights over at Sal's. So we got a lot of good stuff. So visit our website, BillyCBoxing.com. Click on the CPOMs banner. And call them and tell them you want the Billy C Boxing Special. And they'll tell it. They include some food and everything. It's a great deal. But, hey, listen, make sure you tune in Monday morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. And I'll leave you with this. Ciao, baby.